Hi, Steve Harmon here, Oakland Cemetery, Hampton, Virginia. What I'm going to try to do is go over this 501c3 from the IRS for Oakland Cemetery. But first, what I'd like to do is go over, um, if you saw my last video for Microsoft project for nonprofit, I imported it into this here project. So what I'm going to try to do here, uh, if you remember, uh, what happened here? Oops, sorry. All right. Uh, if you remember, all these were like in red, so I'm going to try to explain. That was the critical path, okay? Everything in red was a critical path, and you can see this was a rather long project, but I did find out some information. So, Virginia State Code, right? The reason why I'm imported this, because this is part of Virginia State Code. If you was to have to go through all these steps, I think could be a very big problem. But I'm going to read a little bit of it. This is our General Assembly, I guess, and our governors. They did make some changes to the for cemeteries in the state of Virginia, and so this is step 3 out of their PDF file that they sent out. Any locality that owns an historic African cemetery as defined in step 10.1, TAC 2211, TAC 2, and that provides the following documentation: a copy of the deed confirming ownership of the cemetery, or B, if the cemetery has deemed abandoned and neglected pursuant to 5 TAC 36 or 57 TAC 39 TAC 1 of the Code of Virginia, a copy of proof determination. Okay, well, if this is the case, we may be able to get a letter determination that the cemetery was abandoned. But also, I found out too that we also need a registered agent, okay, to, for liability reasons, limited liability company. And I'm doing some research now, trying to locate a good attorney to do this. I understand and think 2007 there was a nonprofit set up for Oakland Cemetery, and I believe the man was an attorney, so a lot of that could be understanding why they were able to do it. But what I thought would be here would be Oakland Cemetery 23669, the company name. But that could eliminate a lot of this here. It's like doing a title search and getting title insurance. Okay, so, but that's the only reason why I put this here in here. Okay, the other thing what I like to do is go over that I probably didn't explain before. This is the work breakdown structure. Okay, and it's basically a work breakdown structure. But what I did do here was this particular project, the task mod, I let it do automatic. In other words, I let the computer generate the time and the predecessors. The other thing I do here is percent complete. I do something basic. Um, 25% means I've started, 50% means I'm halfway through, 75% means I'm almost done, and then 100% you're done. But that's real basic, but that's one way of tracking it as far as percentages. There's other ways of doing it with the formulas and stuff, but I'm not going to do that to this particular one. And the other thing here, you can see I got notes. Each one of these here represent a note. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to paraphrase some of these. The other thing is, thinking about a nonprofit, it's nice to get money and funds, but sometimes throwing funds and money is not going to get it done. Just keep throwing money at it, it ain't going to get done. You got to have the support, the volunteers to do the work. This is 100%. All profits will end up going to the cemetery and not in the pockets of other people. So I'm sitting here playing with this thing here. Sorry about that. So, but I'm gonna try to go over some of these. And let's see the risk. Like I said, I do have a risk field, but the risk field, I mean, you need support. You need, like your board of directors, which we need to get some people together, to have some input, not just my input. Uh, and then another thing, we can make what they call a key stakeholder view. Whoever let's say the project manager is, you can see right here, 542 days with these two combined. I wouldn't be a very good project manager here if I couldn't get it done. But as we go along, I think you'll see here, how the computer generated it. It estimated 9 days, maybe to complete this project. And but here's exemption from federal income tax. I'll double click it and go to notes. Some of the benefits, exempt from tax and eligibility to receive tax deductible charitable contributions. To qualify for benefits, most organizations must file an application with and be recognized by the IRS as described in the publication. Another benefit is that some organizations may be exempt from certain employment taxes. Right? Receive tax deductions. Like I say, these are some of the benefits and why to apply. Individuals and corporation donors are more likely to support organizations with a 501c3 status because their donations can be tax deductible. Uh, recognition of exemptions under the IRS 501c3 assures foundation and other grants making uh, institutions that are normally assuming grants or sponsorship for beneficiaries. Charitable contributions. I kind of didn't put anything in there. Local state. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase some of this. They may also, uh, eliminate your real estate tax, local taxes, things like that. And those are big things, for any company. All right. This mouse here, I'm hard to get used to. I changed it so hopefully it could be seen. All right. Who is eligible? All right. A 501c3 organization must be organized as a corporation, trust, and unincorporated association with organizations. Documents, incorporated trust documents, articles must be limited to the purpose of those described in 501c3. Not expressly permitted activities that do not further the exempt purpose. In other words, unrelated activities and permanently dedicated to the assets of the exempt purpose. So, like I said, all proceeds would go to the cemetery. And operate, and I'm just going to paraphrase, must absolutely refrain from participating in any political campaign or candidates of our local, state, or federal government, must restrict its lobbying activities to an unsubstantial part of local activities, must ensure that the earnings do not ensure the benefits of any private shareholder and individual, must not operate for the benefit of private interests such as those of its founders, must not operate for the primary purpose of conducting trade business that is not related to the exempt purpose, such as school operations or factories, and must not have a purpose or activity that are illegal or violate fundamental public policies, which is pretty self-explanatory. And exempt purposes, to be tax exempt, an organization must have one or more exempt purposes stated in the organization document. List the following exempt purposes: charitable, educational, religious, scientific, literary, fostering national and international sports competition, preventing cruelty to children or animals, and testing the public safety, for the public safety. All right, there's a milestone. And then charitable organizations, educational and religion, I'm really not going to cover those. But, uh, I'm not going to cover organizational sustainability classified public. Like I say, all this is, I copy and pasted this from the IRS document. Record keeping, filing requirements, annual electronic notice, unrelated business tax income, disclosure requirements, charitable contributions, and record keeping. I'll hit on a couple of these. So the organizations are required to keep books and record detailing all activities, both financial and non-financial, financially information, particularly information on the source of support, contributions, grants, sponsorships, and other revenue. It is critical to determine an organization private foundation status as publication 4221 TAC PC, 4221 TAC PF, TAC 57, and other instructions to Forms 99, 90, 990 EZ, and 990 TAC PF for more information. Filing requirements. Well, I'm just going to paraphrase some of this. These different forms, there are certain dates that have to be filed, all these forms. Same way, electronic. You can do it electronically, depending on, a lot of it has to depend on how much funds you receive. An unrelated business. Now, I don't know of anything that we would be engaged in, any type of business that would be unrelated to the cemetery. All right, disclosure. All right, I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit. Basically, all your records, upon a request from anybody that would like to see them, you need to provide it to them. My thing is to do a annual, semi-annual, and maybe even quarterly report and post it on a website, put it in a PDF, or when anybody asks for it. And the only thing is, I mean, you might be able to charge them like 50 cents for copying, something like that. I don't see any problem with this. Organizations that are tax exempt under the 501c3 must meet certain requirements. Document charitable contributions. The federal law imposes two general disclosure rules. Donations must be written acknowledgement for the charity of any single contributions of $250 or more before the donor can claim a charitable contribution and their federal income tax return. And two, a charitable organization must provide a written disclosure of donors who make payments excess of $75 partially as a contribution, partly for goods and services provided by the organization. Publication 1771, Charitable Contributions, Substantial and Disclosure Requirements. Well, what I was thinking is have an irreversible trust set up, say at Old Point National Bank. And an irreversible trust, if it's not used and money's still there, then the only person that can make a decision on the funds would be a judge. And I see no problem giving anybody any receipt for any contribution, whether it's $1, $5, or 50 cents. And if they make automatic payments or go to the bank, I think they can see where the money was deposited at. And basically, how do you apply? Well, here again in red. All right. What I did when I set this project up, after it was set up, I did what they call a critical path. And so when I did the critical path, everything that's on the critical path, I changed to red. So as you can see here, here's the different types of how do they apply. And excuse me. And like I said, one of the first things you do when you apply, you get an employee identification number. Right? And then you can start moving forward. Like I say, this is a prerequisite that you have to have employee identification number, and have applied with the IRS before you can go to the next step, whether it be recognition from the state or the historic society. This has to be done first. Let's see what I got here. All right, and this here completion of 1023 for recognition exemptions under the 501C of the Internal Revenue Code and mail the address indicated in the instructions. All right, so basically this explains how to do that. And here's another easy form. Some of these forms can be pretty easy to do. Just do them in a timely manner. And when to file, it's going to give you, there's a, it says most organizations must file this application at the end of 27th month, 20, at the end 27th month after the day we're legally formed. Formation date. A corporate is legally formed when its article of incorporation is filed with the state. So that's what I just talked about. So, and determination. You'll get a determination letter. The IRS tax specialist reviewing any application may request additional information in writing. If all information received established that the organization meets the requirements for the exemption, the IRS will issue a determination letter recognizing the organization's exempt status, providing its foundation classification, and its important documents that you should keep in the organization permanent record. And there again, while you're applying, your application is pending. All right. When I'm just going to read a little bit of this. While an organization application is waiting for proceedings by the IRS, the organization may operate as a tax exempt organization. Most organizations are required to file annual information return Form 990, Form 990 EZ, Form 990 PF, or electronic notice 990N while their application for exemptions is pending. So I myself, I wouldn't go any further and wait for this to be done myself. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm learning this. This may help you, may not. As you can see, I'm not an attorney. I'm very good at reading this. But what I did do here is, like I said, the computer generated the timetable for this. I did let it do it automatically. But what I did just for demonstration purposes, I assigned resources to the project, and the resources I put an hourly wage of $50 an hour of passive income. And so what I'm going to do is just show a few reports how this thing might work. All right. Okay, this one here shows a work burned down, a task burned down, but you see nothing's being done. I mean, I haven't done anything, to be truthful with you, as far as percent complete or anything like that. So we'll do a little bit of project overview here. So you can see it goes to task, percent complete. Nothing's being done, but it is showing this one here, which is one for the 501. This is the first one I did. And let's see. Do a work overview here. So it shows 216 hours. Work complete, nothing. Nobody's done anything. And you can look down here and you can see the different resources I have assigned to it. These are different people. They're just first names of some names I generated. All right, let's see here. Cost. All right. Here's the cost. Like So, like I said, I put everybody with $50 an hour, and nothing's being done here. So costs remain, and we haven't. But this thing is really good. I mean, you generate costs for not just personnel, but I mean your actual cost for different products and services and things. This is a really good program. So let's take a look at resources here. Uh, let's do this resource overall. So these are the resources, and say the hours, work status of all. Right, and here they are here. So I don't know. Also, I'll show you a calendar here. This might be a little hard to see, but you can see it does a time count. This is really good. I mean, you've got a resource calendar, personnel, and also you got a task calendars. And so, well, I don't know how well I did on this and whether I'll post it, but thanks for watching, and maybe I'll try to do one on the state, applying for the state when I learn a little bit more. Have a good day. Thank you.